When Astor Rutherford, the postmaster's son, and his childhood friend Zinnia Hollyhock deliver a letter to the Pelware mines, they are attacked by a bird-like monster that turns men to stone. Even worse, Buckwheat Village is plagued by an illness that incapacitates its villagers, including Astor's own father. A chance encounter with Kara Reeves, the brash quartermaster of the Blue Skies, leads Astor to hitch a ride to the capital city in search of a doctor. Astor's quest takes him from the dizzying spires of New Portsmouth to the caves of Munayalpa and to the forests of Tambor. Along the way, Astor reconnects with his estranged mother and comes face to face with the god of a foreign land. Can Astor and the crew of the Blue Skies overcome pirates, politics, and monsters to cure Buckwheat Village before it's too late? Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. Today's video, as you might have guessed from a variety of context clues, is an ARC review. And the ARC, or Advanced Reading Copy, in question is of The Odyllic Stone by Alex Sherman. I'm not sure if I've spoken either if I pronounced either the name of the book or the name of the author correctly, so I'll just assume I have and move on. Now, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that pretty bombastic synopsis. But does anything it say connect to what is actually within the book? Well, the TLEW for this review is this book is actually quite solid, and it manages to tell an intriguing narrative within a pretty well established and well developed world. There are certain details about the way its elements are put together that doesn't exactly gel as effectively as it could have, but I think the underlying narrative is still interesting enough for most people to dive into. So if you're looking for an easy reading experience that goes from low to conventional fantasy, this book might be right up your alley. For those of you who want something a little more specific before deciding to go for this book, well then the rest of this video should cover those aspects. The main plot follows Astor Rutherford, the postmaster in training of Buckwheat Village, who has taken on this role after its official holder, his father, has started to become noticeably affected by an illness that also afflicts many of their fellow villagers as well. Being a kind-hearted figure with a desire for adventure, as most fantasy protagonists tend to be, when Astor notices an opportunity to find a doctor who is either knowledgeable or skilled enough to treat the illness, he jumps at it. And during his endeavor, he discovers that almost everyone he encounters, as he tries to accomplish this goal, has some level of complexity and issues that they themselves also have to confront. While the characters within the story themselves are overwhelmed, the book actually does a great job at making sure the reader doesn't, and it does so by maintaining a bird's eye view and allowing the reader to coast more or less between the various character narratives and explore these characters at their own pace. The stakes of their stories are never downplayed, never made to seem unimportant. But the way in which the book articulates them and allows the readers to delve in makes for an engaging reading experience for basically all levels. It's easy reading in the best possible way, even though it takes a while for for the various narratives that this book is trying to develop to actually get started. There, within other aspects of the novel writing craft, I'm afraid to say this book is more hit and miss. The world building, for example, is actually quite good as long as you don't delve too deep into it. Like the various locations that are present and established within the story all have their own distinctive all have their own distinctive characteristics and features that allows them to stand out and allows for the readers to actually differentiate them. Of particular note is the fact that the locations established um, show deference or worship to different deities, which does add a lot of variance in terms of how the societal development of this of the world this book presents actually works. When it comes to zooming in, when it comes to detail work, however, this book unfortunately kind of falls apart. It's almost like physics, where you have where you have the big scope that is relatively well understood, and then you get quantum mechanics, and yeah, nothing makes sense anymore. But how is that the case here? Well, aside from the fact that there are plenty of characters who do not have distinctive or established backstories, when the action gets going, so after the getting to know phase has been completed between reader and book, there are still various gaps that emerge during during various points of the reading experience, which in turn leads to the tense scenes that this book is supposed to have not necessarily having the same impact that they could or that they should, because instead of receiving a sharp impression of what the environment around these characters is actually like, and therefore an impression of what their options within the situation are, instead readers are confronted with with scenarios with various elements that seem disconnected from the scenes within which they are presented, which ultimately does very much hurt immersion. I would argue that this is meant to be deliberate, or I could see the argument for why such a presentation would be deliberate, with the author trying to bring readers into the into the mindset of the characters who might be panicking within this situation. However, even assuming that's the case, first of all, that doesn't really add any benefit to the story in and of itself, and second of all, it's not really applied. That rule isn't really applied consistently. So there are still some gaps in terms of how exactly that narrative develops. Nevertheless, I have to say that the flaws of the world building and of its unveiling are somewhat compensated by the strong character focus that this book employs. After the author has figured out which characters he actually wants his readers to follow, I assume Alex goes by he, him. I haven't exactly checked. If Alex doesn't, then I'm sorry. Anyway, the point is, once the main cast has been crystallized, the author actually does a good job at exploring what it is that makes each of them distinctive, and also gives them plenty of opportunity to stand out both through their own actions as well as the interactions they have between between themselves and with the environment around them. Overall, even though it's pretty clear that this book has been written by a novice author who's still kind of figuring his tools out, or their tools out, uh, this book nevertheless is a strong presentation of how intriguing characters meet their goals within a rich and expanding world. My final rating for the Odyllic Stone is a 3 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video and maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself or to my review of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and A Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out, should you choose to. Additionally, you have the option of supporting me on Patreon, where depending on the level at which you pledge, you will receive various perks, the specifics of which I will allow you to uncover for yourselves. I also have a second channel where I talk about whatever it is that crosses my mind that isn't related to books or literature. Mostly it's me talking about movies, TV, video games, and occasionally politics, though not exclusively. If that doesn't sound interesting to you, then you can stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog of book reviews, writing advice, and lore videos. Or you can do whatever else you want with your day, because it is your day after all. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.